to success. That's all I need. And here's what I found is a combination lock. And not only must you know the right digits, not digits, multiple digits, they must be in the right sequence or it won't open. And a sequence always starts with your attitude, your thinking. Well, what happens if you put them in different sequence? It won't open. And then you'll see it most profoundly in America. You see it in professional athletics. Every year, just a week ago now, there was NFL draft. Every year on draft day, some talented, incredible young athlete becomes a multimillionaire. Gets drafted number 1, number 2, number 3, and gets these multi-million-dollar contracts. And I applaud them. I applaud. I shout. It's a big thing. Here's the problem. Statistics show that 5 years after retirement, over 70% of professional athletes are broke because they worked on a skill set before they worked on a mindset. You must work on your thinking first. First is attitude, then aptitude. First is mindset, attitude. Work on your mindset, then skill set. And if you do, you'll start to see things start to change. And in that process of transformation, you're going to have some defining moments. I pray, I hope that today will be a defining moment for the Department of Homeland Security. I hope that y'all will be able to look back and say, that day that Dr. Willie Jolley came, that was the day things changed. Things changed dramatically that day. Because everybody's going to have defining moments. Everybody's going to have. You have moments where you live your faith or you live your fear. Everybody. This is a defining moment for me. This is about 24 years ago. I was in the Philadelphia Marriott Hotel, opening session of the National Speakers Association Convention. I am there with some friends of mine, way over in the corner, hanging out, laughing and joking, waiting for the opening session to start. A photographer comes over to me and says, Willie Jolley, could you come with me? I want to take a picture with you. I said, okay, no problem. Not thinking much of it. He said, I'm very excited. I've been in my photography business for a number of years, and there are some speakers who've had a great impact on my business, growing my business, expanding my business, and they're all in the same room today. I said, isn't that nice? What that got to do with me? So we walk into where this guy wants me to walk, and when he gets there, he said, well, here it is. I said, well, what do you want me to do? Why did you bring me over here? He said, the 3 speakers who've had the greatest impact on my life are in the room today. I never thought I'd have it. I want to take a picture. I want to capture this moment. He said, get in the picture. I said, oh, no. Oh, no. Those are the great ones. I don't belong in that picture. That's Les Brown. That's Zig Ziglar. Those are the greatest speakers on the planet. I do not belong in that picture. He said, get in the picture. I said, no. He said, I'm telling you, your books and your programs have had a profound impact on my thinking and on my business. Get in the picture. I said, no. He said, get in the picture. No. He said, get in the picture, please. I get in the picture and I smile. He takes the picture. Picture has gone on to become an iconic picture called The 3 Great Motivators. I've seen it in people's homes. I've seen it in art galleries. I've seen it in books. Now, here's the thing. That man believed in me more than I believed in myself. And folks, what I've learned from that is sometimes you got to go on somebody else's belief in you till yours kicks in. And I'm here today to say I believe in you. I came back from Detroit to say to you, I believe in you. And I want you to take full advantage of the things we're going to share with you today, and then take them home, share them with your family. Now, let me tell you the kicker to the story. That was 24 years ago. 20 years later, Zig passes away. Now, for many years, Zig had been the opening keynote speaker for the Get Motivated tour. It came here to the Verizon Center. I'd go and I'd sit in the front row taking notes. It was Zig's opening and General Colin Powell with a closer. And I would sit there just taking notes. Well, Zig passes away, and a couple months later, I get a call from Get Motivated. They said, we've been searching around the country for the replacement for Zig Ziglar, and we've chosen you. And so the opening speaker for the last 4 years of the Get Motivated tour was a guy named Willie Jolley, and the closing speaker was Les Brown. And we become dear friends. So it shows you what's possible. That man believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, but he encouraged me to keep pursuing excellence. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Today, whatever you do with your job, I want you to pursue excellence. Make a commitment to excellence, because it's key. It's all about excellence, and it's all about service. Excellence is about serving, making a commitment to serve and do more than you're expected to do. So this is the 5 things that I've learned from the people in the groups I've spoken for about excellence, the attitude of excellence. There are 5 areas: leadership, change, team building, customer service, and attitude. Let me start first with leadership. Leadership. You got to develop leaders at every level of your organization, from the top to bottom. Everybody needs to be a leader, not just the managers or the mid-managers. Everybody. You must develop leaders at every level of your organization. Be a Biddy. That's a picture of Biddy. That picture right there with that green, that's Biddy. Biddy and I grew up together here in Washington, D.C., up in the Petworth area. Now, Biddy and I, lifelong friends, we even went to the same college together. Now, when we were in college, first year of college, Biddy met that guy back there with the red shirt. His name is Dex. Some of y'all know Bill Clark, my friend right there. He sings at the choir. You know Bill Clark. All right, Bill was in the choir at First Baptist Church of Glenarm. Anyway, Biddy and Dex met each other, and they fell in love. So they decided to get married. And they needed some money to get a little apartment, so Biddy left college saying, I'll come back later. And she got a job with the federal government as a GS2, answering phones and making photocopies. But she had such a spirit of excellence about her. She'd answer the phone early in the morning. She had to get there early because Dex had to drop her off early before her regular time started. She'd get there around 8 o'clock. And the phone rang, she'd answer the phone. It's a great day. How can I help you? She'd do it throughout the day, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5, 4 o'clock. Even at 6 o'clock when she was waiting for him to pick it up, after everybody had left, the phone rang, she said, it's a great day. How can I help you? If there was a photocopy to be made, she'd always, in a training program, she'd always make a second copy, take it home, read through it, see if there's any suggestions she could make to help her boss to be more effective and more professional. She'd give it to the boss and say, if there's anything in there that works for you, use it. If not, throw it in the trash. She went from a grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, and she got pregnant, had her first child. Came back, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. She went quickly up the ladder. She was doing great. But after the second time, she got pregnant again. And this time, Dex said, that child care is killing us. I did the numbers, and it's actually cheaper if you stayed home than us pay for 2 children to go to baby care. She said, but I love my job. He said, I know, but So she stayed home. About 3 years one day, and 3 years went by, and one day she called me and said, Willie, I need to talk. I said, what's going on? She said, my marriage is having some challenges. We don't talk like we used to talk. And I don't feel the same as I used to feel. And I don't know what to do. I said, let me tell you, I'm not an expert on all things. I got the degree and all that, but here's what I recommend. Go back to work. Your selfhood, your personhood is involved in your work, as well as the fact that you both have something to bring to the table. It's something about it that makes you feel good. Go back to work. The problem was there was a job freeze at that time. She tried, but she couldn't get in. But one day one of her friends said, I can slip you in, but I got to get you in as a grade 2. She said, I'll take it. Next day, she was answering phones. It's a great day. How can I help you? She was making a second copy of the training manuals, doing the same thing she had done and had been so successful. One day, she's answering phone. It's a great day. How can I help you? And the person on the other end said, hello? Is this Biddy? Yes, it's a great day. How can I help you? Biddy, this is Mr. Jackson, who was your first boss when you were working, when you first came out of college and you came to work. How are you? I've been looking for you. Where you been? She said, I was on an extended maternity leave. He said, I'm the director of training for the Department of Energy. I've been looking for an assistant. I've been looking for a Biddy. Would you be willing to leave? I don't care what they're paying you. I'll double it. She said, in a heartbeat. Now she had a support staff that reported to her. She had about 20 people who reported her. But if they didn't answer the phone, she'd answer the phone. If they didn't make a photocopy, she'd make a photocopy. She kept doing the things that made her exceptional and excellent and stand out from the crowd. Well, Biddy today is retired from the director of training and development for the Department of Interior. And not only did she retire from there, she's been at the printing office. She's been at a number of places, and everybody still calls her for advice, as well as they brought her back as a consultant to work because of her spirit of excellence. Excellence is your best job security. I can tell everybody in this room something, that no one can guarantee that you will stay employed. No one. But excellence will guarantee that you'll be of interest to others, because they'll want when you're available, because you've developed a reputation of excellence. And in that process, you're going to have change. So leadership, change. Change is not the enemy, it's an ally. All progress is the result of change. You're going to have some change. Y'all in an industry that's constantly changing. Am I right? Like every day y'all wake up, something new is in your industry. Am I right? So a lot of change. But then you're going to have team building, where you think like a team, you work like a team, so you can win like a team. You got to think team, and then wow customer service. You got to wow the customer, because everybody has a customer. Everybody has a customer. And then you want to get great. Now let me give you a story of customer service in the government, in agencies. Many people think, well, we don't have a customer because, we work with the public. Everybody has a customer. If you didn't have a customer, you wouldn't have a job. Because you got to sell something to somebody, do something for somebody, make a difference in somebody's life. This is the U.S. Postal Service, not a place you usually hear about great customer service. Am I right about it? But let me tell you, my wife goes to the post office every day because we have a lot of packages we send out. We got a lot of stuff coming in. So these two ladies are the postmasters at the post office near our home, Brightwood Post Office. And they are awesome. But here's what happened one day. My wife came home and told me, let me tell you what happened today. The taller lady, she was at her station. She was working. There was a line of people, but there was a Hispanic gentleman who came who could not speak English well. He needed something done. He needed this thing. He could see it in his face, but he couldn't communicate it. And she knew it was important to him, and she wanted to serve him with a spirit of excellence. So she told the people in the line, I'm so sorry, I'll be right with you. She walked around her desk, came and took him by the hand, took him out on Georgia Avenue in the Brightwood section, took him to a Spanish restaurant that's down the street at Georgia Avenue and Sheridan Street, and she had friends in there, and she said, translate and let me know what he needs so I can help him. That is service. That's a spirit of excellence. And that's what we must strive to do if we're going to be all we can be. Another example of customer service is Nordstrom's. Now, Nordstrom's, everybody knows Nordstrom's is the king of customer service. You know that. You wear something, you can take it back to Nordstrom. You know that. Y'all know that. Y'all already know that. I ain't got to tell y'all that. Some of y'all done wore the thing 4-5 times and then take it back. Oh, it just doesn't fit right. Anyway. Well, here's a story about Nordstrom. A new Nordstrom store opens up in an area where there's an ocean area, and they're torn down the whole street of the ocean area, Ocean Avenue, and they opened the whole street became Nordstrom, but the actual address was 1234 Ocean Avenue. Well, what used to be at 1234 Ocean Avenue was a tire store, a little mom and pop tire store. Well, this new Nordstrom's open up, and the second week it's open, that they have this lady coming, an older lady with 2 tires under her arms. Now, how many of y'all know Nordstrom does not sell tires? But this old lady came in with a receipt and said, I was looking for this tire store. I don't drive anymore. They've been sitting in my garage. I wanted to return them. It says 1234 Ocean Avenue, but when I looked on the sign, I didn't see the store where I bought them, but I saw your store, and 1234. The young lady who worked for Nordstrom had been trained to serve the customer. See, before you can impact a customer at Nordstrom's, you have to have 14 days of full-time training. Have 14 full days before you can impact a customer. The young lady looked at the receipt, 1234 Ocean Avenue. She looked at the old lady. She looked at the tires. She said, ma'am, it'd be my pleasure to give you your money back. She gave her $214.42. The old lady put it in her pocketbook, said, thank you. She walked around that store for a couple hours. She said, what a beautiful store. When she left that day, she had spent over $10,000. She did not have a money issue. She just didn't drive anymore. I'm encouraging you to serve your customer with a spirit of excellence. Find who the customer is. Always do that. And finally, a winner's attitude. A winner's attitude. I'm going to point out somebody here in this group who today, y'all don't know, has a great winner's attitude. Robert, stand up. Robert, where are you, McMillan? That guy has a winner's attitude. He's one of the great speaker trainers in America. We've been friends for years. He has a winner's attitude. He came here to Homeland Security to do a speech, and y'all hired him. Good job, Robert McMillan. That's my man. He's got a winner's attitude. Good job. I said, well, what are you doing? He said, I came and spoke. They kept me. I said, all right. So let me tell you about attitude. Attitude, excellence can be attained if you care more than others think is wise. You risk more than others think is safe. You dream more than others think is practical, and you expect more than others think is possible. Today, I'm going to give you some ideas that are going to transform your life. Now, not just your life here at Homeland Security. My goal is to transform your life at home, in your family life, your finances, your community life, your church life. In fact, let me take a moment. Y'all standing around, we got seats. Come on, y'all, come on. You won't disturb me. Sit down, make yourself at home. You at my house, come on. Y'all sitting out there looking like, I don't want your feet to start hurting. You know, pretty ladies, y'all know you got them heels on. Your feet gonna start hurting in a little while. Come on, we got chairs up here. We got chairs all over. Just sit down, make yourself at home. You know, like I'm from Washington, but my mom is from Washington, but her mother's from Virginia, and people from, the South. And the South people, they say, when you come up to you, they say, how y'all doing? And here's how you know you're really Southern. How your mama and them? All right, so develop an attitude of excellence. How do you do that? First, you got to, now let me tell you why it's so important to have an attitude of excellence. I want to tell you why it's so important. Because if you have people who take this message and you take it back to your home, you share it with your spouse, your partner, your significant other, you share it with your children, you share it with your cousins, and they start to change. Let me tell you what I've learned about success and about organizations. Great organizations are made up of great people. Great organizations are made up of great people. And great people give great service. Good people tend to give good service. Mediocre people, they only have the capacity for mediocre service. And negative people will kill your organization. Am I right about it? If somebody negative you and you know they're negative, they sit next to you, don't say nothing, just smile. And so, what we want you to do is to be happy here at work, but also happy at home. That's why I want you to take this message and take it back home. Share it with your family. Let me tell you why, because a friend of mine wrote a book that says it better than I can say it. He says, happy cows give better milk. And that's true. So it starts off with your thinking. Wake up and dream. Sounds like an oxymoron. How do you wake up and dream? Well, this came to me as I was finishing my second book, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback. The book was at the publisher, and I said, oh, this book is finished. And, of course, on the day that it would go into print, I would get this email. It was a quote by T.E. Lawrence, and it's an incredible quote. It says, all people dream, but not equally. Those that dream at night in the dusty recesses of their minds awaken to find that it was just vanity, a whiff of smoke. But those that dream by day, they're the dangerous ones because they dream with their eyes open and they make their dreams come true. That was from T.E. Lawrence. Isn't that a great quote? So you must wake up and dream. Michael Jordan was asked in an interview what made him such a great basketball player. His answer was when he was in high school, he got cut from the basketball team for not being good enough. He went home and dreamed about doing impossible things with the basketball because he wanted to prove to the coach that the coach had made a mistake. Once he saw it in here, he tried it out there, and once he tried it, he knew he could do it. Duke Ellington was asked how he created such great music coming out of Washington, D.C. He said, I dream a lot. Walt Disney was asked how he created Disneyland after having 2 nervous breakdowns, going bankrupt, having to sell his house, lose his car, and live on the street for a while. Muhammad Ali was asked how he revolutionized the boxing industry so people would flock to see him fight. He said, I had imagination. I created a personality that people either loved or they hated. Those who loved me came to see me win. Those who hated me came to see me lose. In the meantime, every seat was taken. And then you got Helen Keller. Helen Keller was born in a time when people who were blind or were not able to see were institutionalized. But Helen Keller, her parents had a vision for her. And then she had a vision for herself. And she went on to learn how to speak, even though she was deaf and mute. And went on to become one of the greatest women the world has ever seen. She was asked in an interview, is there anything worse than blindness? She said, yes, having sight but no vision. I love Walt Disney. Let me tell you about Walt Disney. One more story about Walt Disney. When Walt Disney, you all know, started Disneyland out in California, and it became the #1 tourist attraction in the world. But then he got a bigger vision, and he started buying up swampland in Florida in a little place called Orlando. And he started building his bigger vision, Disney World. The structures started coming to life. The concrete was poured. Things started coming. And 2-3 years, though, into the construction, he got sick. And within a year, he was dead. 5 years later, on opening day, a lady came up to Roy Disney, Walt's brother, and said, isn't it sad that Walt didn't get to see this? Roy said, sad? No. It's because Walt saw it that it's here today. My question to you is, what's your vision? What's your vision for the Department of Homeland Security? What's your vision from a year from now, 5 years from now? What's your vision for your life? Because without a vision, the people perish. But with a vision, the people will flourish. You got to have a vision. I love this. You remember the Karate Kid? There's a movie Karate. How many of y'all saw Karate Kid? Everybody saw Karate Kid. There's a little boy named Daniel moved into a new area with his mama. One day he's riding his bicycle home, and the bullies jump out and attack him. They tear up his bicycle, and they're about to tear him up when out of nowhere. Mr. Miyagi shows up. Mr. Miyagi beats up the bullies while Daniel runs home. The next morning, there was a knock on Daniel's door. He opened his door. There's his bicycle, restored, renewed, better than it had been before he had it broken. He saw who did it. Mr. Miyagi gave him a thumbs up. They became fast friends. One day in Mr. Miyagi's backyard, Mr. Miyagi's clipping a bonsai tree. Daniel said, what a beautiful plant. Mr. Miyagi said, I learned to do this when I was your age. I can teach you. Daniel said, no. I'm not artistic. I don't have skills like that. No, I can teach you. No, I don't have those kind of abilities. I'm not like, I can teach you. And the more Mr. Miyagi tried to talk Daniel into it, Daniel talked himself out of it. And you know what, folks? That's how most of us are about our possibilities. We talk ourselves out our best ideas. I'll prove it to you. How many of you have had at least one good idea in your life? Just one. Now, how many of you have talked you out at least one good idea in your life? You told yourself you're too old, you're too young, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough education. No, it wouldn't work for you. And we talk ourselves out of it. Well, Mr. Miyagi says, Daniel, you can do it. No, I can't. You can do it. No, I can't. Finally, Mr. Miyagi said, Daniel, close your eyes. He said, do you remember what you just saw, that plant, the detail? Yeah. Can you see the detail in your mind? Yeah. Open your eyes. By the time he had opened his eyes, Mr. Miyagi had taken the clipped bonsai tree and replaced it with an unclipped bonsai tree. He said, now, work on what you just saw in here. If you cannot see it, how will you be it? If you cannot see the great things that are possible for your organization or your agency, how would it come to be? You've got to have the vision. You've got to have a bigger vision. First, you got to wake up and dream. Everybody say, wake up and dream. Then you got to show up. Everybody say, show up. Show up. You got to show up with your stuff. Show up engaged. Show up excited. Show up enthusiastic. Show up and do more than you're expected to do. Give more than you're expected to give. Go further than you're expected to go. I've learned something in 25 years of speaking. I've learned if you do more than you're paid to do, one day you'll be paid more for what you do. My friend Les Brown says it like this: if you do the things today that others won't do, you will have the things tomorrow that others won't have. You want to write that one down and tweak it. If you do the things today that others won't do, you will have the things tomorrow that others won't have. By the way, I encourage you to take notes on your phone, on your something. I always tell people to take notes. In fact, I was speaking one day and I told the lady had 2, 3, 4 pages of notes. I said, let me see what you wrote that I said was so profound. She opened the book, nothing I said on all these pages of notes. And that was good, because what I became was a catalyst to get those ideas that had been trapped inside of her, out of her on the paper. When you think it, ink it. I believe a short pencil is better than a long memory any day of the week. So you got to show up. Show up excited. Show up enthusiastic. I'm telling you, if you show up, stuff happens. I remember when I was with Les Brown and Gladys Knight when I was new on the tour, and we were at the Warner Theater, and I was in the green room, and I was flipping channels, waiting, wait for my time to start the program, and I was flipping channels, and an infomercial came up on the television, and a lady was on television selling tapes on how to have a successful marriage. I said, how in the world that lady on television selling them tapes? I know that lady. She been married 5 times. Les looked over me and said, the reason she on television because she showed up. Folks, you got to show up with your stuff. You really do. If you want to be successful, you got to show up. Here's the real deal. If you show up with your stuff, engage, you just show up. You get the opportunities 80% of the time. Now, you show up on time, you get the opportunities 85% of the time. Show up on time with a plan, you get the opportunity to promotions 90% of the time. Show up on time with a plan and implement that plan, you get the opportunities, the promotions 95% of the time. You show up on time with a plan and implement and execute the plan with excellence. What word did I say? You get the opportunities 100% of the time. Keep showing up. I know this is true. My son is an attorney. He's an attorney now. He's a developer. He's doing real good now. When he was in college, though, it was a different story. He went to the College of William and Mary. Tough little school. You know about William and Mary? Oh, he went there too. You know, they don't play. They will put you out. Well, after his first year of school, they put him on probation. After his second year, they said they were going to help him find a new vocation. Third year, the boy came home on a roll. I was excited. I hugged him, kissed him. I said, son, I'm so proud of you. What's the secret to your success? He said, Dad, I listened to your tapes and showed up to all my classes. Everybody repeat after me. If you want to go up, then you got to show up. I had to show up when I did my Sirius XM show. I had to show up. I didn't have a producer. I didn't have a budget. I didn't have anything. All I had was a desire to be excellent. So I called everybody I could. I asked for favors. Well, these are a few of the guests I've had on my show in the last season. General Colin Powell, Bill Marriott, Les Brown, Shirley Ralph from Dreamgirls, Wally Famous Amos, the Cookie Man, Brian Tracy, the Success Guru, Nellie Gallant, who started Univision, Mark Victor Hansen, who was the author and is the author of the Chicken's Food for the Soul series, Damon John from Shark Tank. Let's see, last week I had Gladys Knight. I'm getting ready to go next in a couple of weeks to her 75th birthday in California, and she was my guest on my show. I had John Maxwell, T.D. Jakes. I've had so many great guests, and it's because I just kept pursuing excellence, even when I had no money. Let me tell you something General Powell taught me. He said, success is an attitude. You must believe that it can be done. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. You must stay positive. You must make a decision to get better. Invest in yourself and invest in your future. You're going to see this over and over. Get better, invest in yourself. Get better, invest in yourself. Let's see what Brian Tracy said. Top people think about solutions all the time. The most successful people think about what they want and then set goals to get it. Change your thinking, change your actions, you will change your life and change your income. Les Brown says, whatever you focus on longest becomes strongest. Focus on bad, negative, you'll get that. Focus on good, positive, you'll get that. Put your money where your mouth is. Invest in yourself. Invest in your thinking. Invest in your mindset. There's a millionaire in you. Grow yourself and stimulate your own economy. You must wake up, show up, stand up. Martin Luther King said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Stand up. Become a leader of one. I love this little quote. It says, he who knows not and knows not that he knows not, but thinks that he knows, is a fool. Leave him alone. Now, he who knows not and knows that he knows not is a child. Teach him. He who knows but knows not that he knows is asleep. Wake him. Oh, but he who knows and uses what he knows as a leader, follow him. There's a leader on the inside of each and every one of you. There is. You were born with the seeds of greatness within you. But you must develop those seeds of greatness. You must develop you. That means you must become a lifelong learner. You must make a commitment to lifelong learning if you want to be all you want to be. I was listening to an interview some years ago now about Coach John Wooden, who was the winningest basketball coach of all times, UCLA Bruins. Coach Wooden at that time was 96, 97 years old. He died at 99. They asked him, Coach Wooden, how did you win more college championships than anybody else? And what are you doing today at 96 years old? He said, I'm going to answer both questions with one answer. I'm doing the same thing today I've been doing for the last 65 years. Every day, I work on me. I work on getting better. If I'm better, my team will perform better. Work on yourself, he said, and you will get better. And if you get better, you'll win more. Simple. Become a lifelong learner. Never stop learning. Never stop growing. I don't just preach to you. I'm preaching to me when I'm saying it because I had to preach to me. See, for many years, I wanted to go back and get my doctorate. For many years, y'all been hearing me speak around D.C. It was Willie, Jolley. It is now Dr. Willie, Jolley. Hello. Now, I have been talking about going back and getting my doctorate for years. But then I got married. Then I started having children. Then I started speaking. I couldn't stop. I was busy. But in 2012, I was speaking at the Crystal Cathedral, Hour of Power. And a gentleman in the audience was the president of the California Graduate School of Theology. And he came up afterwards and said, I loved your message. We need a graduation speaker next year. We would love for you to speak. But I looked online and I saw you are not cheap. I said, this is true. He said, so what we want to do is we want to see if you would come be our graduation speaker and we'll give you an honorarium and an honorary doctorate. I said, wow. I said, let me make you a counter offer. How about I come speak for your graduation, you pay me nothing, and you let me work for my doctorate? He said, what? Yeah, why would you want to do? I said, let me tell you why. Because I know that is not the goal that you hit that's important. What's really important is what you become in hitting the goal. I want to go back and do the work. I want to do the work. I want to learn. He said, okay, well, let's see if I can make that happen. He went to the trustees. They said yes. And so we started the process of me going back to school. I shut down my business for a year, and I went back to school. And let me tell you, it was tough. I remember my first paper. I write books. I don't write a doggone paper. So the day before the paper was due, I sat down and I wrote me a good paper. I walked in that day, I said, sir, this is a good paper. You're going to enjoy this. Next week I came to class. He said, you write great books. That it only takes a minute to change your life. Great book. Setback, set up for a comeback. Incredible book. Turn setbacks into greenbacks. Awesome book. Attitude of excellence. Chicken soup for the soul. You write great books. Then he handed me my paper. Had a big fat F on it. He said, I put an F on your paper because I read this information when I read your books. This is stuff that you already know. You're not in school for what you already know.